Before we hop into a game, I think it's very important to understand the different abilities of a champion. I've played Karma for hundreds, nearly 1,000 games, and there are a few things that many people to this day don't know, but after this video, you will have everything you need to be the best Karma player ever. So let's start right away with the ability rundown. First off, we have the passive ability called Mantra. Every ability cast grants Karma a stack of Mantra. At 3 stacks, she enters a Mantra state enhancing her next basic ability. The first ability is called Inner Flame. Fires a blast of energy dealing 180 magical damage, with a 40% AP scaling to the first enemy hit and surrounding enemies, and slows them by 35% for 1.5 seconds. If this effect is empowered by the Mantra, the damage is increased to 290 here, plus a 50% scaling to the first target hit and surrounding enemies, and the blast leaves behind the field for 1.5 seconds, slowing down the targets by 50%, and after this time it explodes, dealing another flat amount of damage, plus another 50%. So in total, your first ability has a 100% AP scaling if it's the empowered version. So let's pay close attention, let's take a look at how it looks. You see me throwing that spell, and it lands here, and it's a lot of damage we are dealing. And this is just the base damage. This is just the base damage without any other ability power item. As for the second ability called Focused Resolve, tethers up to 2 nearby enemy champions dealing 110 magical damage, plus 40% scaling. This is the one that stays the same. If the targets fail to break the tether, they will take another flat amount of damage, plus 45% scaling damage of your AP. This ability in total has an 85% scaling on the default version, not the empowered version of the spell. On the Mantra version, we have a new tether will be formed between tether targets. If there's only one tether target, the new tether will spread towards an enemy additional champion, and if the targets fail to break the tether, they take damage again, by the way. So you see the amount of damage it does to champions. Don't forget, it is an insane amount of damage that this ability is doing. So here's the default version, and by the way, here's a little secret. You see how it lights up? This is pretty much normal, right? But now let me show you a little cheat code when it comes to playing Karma. Let's place a dummy exactly here, and then place a dummy here. Okay. You'll see that my first W here, my first second ability, you see? I see nothing, but I can still use it, you know? So it must be within the white circle of my range because I can press this ability. You see? Now let me reset my cooldowns. And now it's the next secret. You remember, there's another unit here, right? I obviously don't know that there's another unit if I just walk in here, but now my spell is activated, and suddenly you see it links them both together. And the other secret would be, let me reset my cooldowns again. I apply the tether, and then I walk away, and they have to break the tether, and if they fail to break the tether, I can hit them with every single ability. And you might think, that's not too much of a problem, but after showing you the shielding ability, we'll go into the ultimate ability and showing you the real issue of Karma, like the real brokenness of this champion. Karma, funny as it is, has a lovely team ability. Let me spawn an allied dummy. You see here, I can just buff it, gets a shield, gains movement speed. For the sake of this, give me like 0 cooldown reduction. See, I walk faster. And now let me give the Mantra effect. You see, there's a shield around me, and as soon as somebody walks in there, he gets the shield too. But it only applies to a singular person. And now we come to the real problem and the real broken part of Karma. Remember, there's 2 units in the Fog of War. We apply our W here. We know that they'll get rooted, and then we full combo them and hit them with every single spell. Let's do it again. We connect the root, we do the ult, and then we throw in this as well, and every single bit of our damage has hit. Look, 622 damage, which is against 100 MR, it's the double damage. It's like 1244, and we don't have a singular AP item. Nothing. And again, look at the damage I dealt with everything that connects. Because it's guaranteed to connect. Every single bit is guaranteed to connect. Because they cannot avoid this. Because in order to avoid this, they'd have to break the tether, which I'll show it to you. Like imagine there's 2 units, and I link them together like this. And how do they dodge this? They have to walk in different directions and split apart to avoid this from triggering. And if they do this, they open themselves up to getting engaged on by other champions, and if in solo queue, for some reason they are not understanding what's happening, they might walk away in a straight line and still get CC'd, and then you still have the full combo available. Unfortunately, in the next patch, we are going to see the removal of the enchant of Meteor, which is very, very sad, this enchantment here, because it dealt 25% of the enemy's max HP. And think about this, I already showed you that it's guaranteed to always hit if they can't break the tether. Like, I can hit all of these abilities, including the Meteor, and you one-shot every single one, and that is the reason why you go full AP calm instead of anything else, because the value, even of just, let's look at it again, 100% of your AP in the mantra queue, if they even get hit by the second part as well. And don't forget, if you know how it works, you can almost always guarantee it if two people are close to each other, which then enables you to do your full combo and the enemy just goes sky. But okay, let's talk about the shielding ability. I got completely sidetracked here. I already showcased you what it does, but let's talk about what it truly does in terms of numbers. Grants an allied champion a shield, a flat value, and obviously an AP scaling of 65% and 30% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. If you use the enhanced version of that ability, you see the shield doubles, but the AP scaling remains the same. That decays over 4 seconds, and 60% movement speed that decays to 20 over the same duration. An additional ring is generated about the shielded target, and the first ally who enters the ring will be granted the same shield and movement speed. So here again, you can even do it on an ally here. You see this, and then I walk into the circle, I get the shield. But for the ultimate and why the combo works, immediately enter mantra state. Your ultimate puts you immediately into mantra state, which means you have casted 3 spells if you just press ult. Forms a ring of energy at the target location. After 1 second, it detonates, dealing flat damage as well as 80% of your AP to all the enemies inside and slowing them by 35%. If the enemies are hit by the auto ring, they will be knocked back into the center. And you just see, this champion is so front-loaded and overloaded with damage that it's an absolute sin to play her anything but AP, and yeah, you just don't want to play her enchanting, you don't want to play her as a tank. It's an absolute waste for the champion, because the damage potential of this champion is too high. You can just completely win fights before they even start by just poking the enemy on a low cooldown spell. Even if I don't have any cooldown reduction, I don't have items, it's 6 seconds and I have 0 haste, nothing. And for the early game, which I'm going to show you in the gameplay, you'll see something really interesting, because I have a Kank Helmet, Scorch, Cheap Shot and Zombie Ward for my runes, and then for the second tree, you can choose between Hack Slash, Bone Plating, whatever you think you need depending on the lane state. You can obviously also think about Gathering Storm, but the reason why I like Hack Slash, when I go and play my champion and I play around forcing the enemy to flash, so let's say I bind them together and I know they're gonna flash away, so I flash after them and use my full combo. Now I know for a fact that they don't have flash anymore. So for the next potential combo, I will use their perception against them. What does this mean? How do I use their perception against them? You see, I will charge Hack Slash from a brush. You see, my relative range of engage changes, and then I can just do this and immediately punish them. And keep in mind, I do not have to put myself at risk because of the mantra second ability, because it tethers them together, and that will allow me to hit my full combo anyway. So this champion is so unbelievably unbalanced for seasons. I've been playing this champion for seasons, and it's insane how broken this champion is if you truly understand how to utilize the different mantras and for what reason, and how much of an engage range you have, how you can punish people that are just trolling, by the way. Like, for example, let me reset cooldowns again. Let's say the enemy is here and here. Okay, so I walk in here, I apply this alone. Not close enough, yeah? You see? It's not close enough. But what if the enemy is close enough? How does that look like? For example, here. Let's see if that is the perfect range. Because here I walk up, and now the enemy is punished. Now imagine he can't walk any other way than the way I'm walking right now, like backing off like this. But if he has to walk like this, he will get CC'd. And then I hit my full combo and they die. If they split apart, again, anywhere where a teammate of mine is, they will be able to fight them while the other people behind here are forced to back off. Because the potential damage coming in from the Karma is simply too high. The only thing that makes this champion suffer a little bit is playing into super tanky combos, because you will probably lack the damage to burst them, so you'd have to adjust your build. But we'll talk about the build as the gameplay goes on, so let's hop right into it. I hope this one helped already, but we will break down more for you in the game to just know, or just showcase you everything you need to know that you become the best Karma player on the server. Let's break down the matchup first. Okay, we are playing Karma and Varus, seen here, into Lucian and Nami. What are the most important takeaways here? Let's compare summoner spells. Summoner spells are really important to take a look at for you to understand when you can all in and when you can't all in. He has Cleanse, she has Ignite. So if I were to bind the Lucian with my second ability, he has Cleanse available to escape. Whereas if Nami gets tagged, she cannot escape. It's very, very important to know because it allows you to all in a different way. Varus, on the other hand, doesn't have an offensive summoner spell, he has a utility spell in the form of Ghost. That is also very important when it comes to fights. So how do we want to fight? In the early game, we want to avoid Lucian's first ability or second ability, so let me just start playing this one here, so I can give you some visual context. I'll pause a lot during this to give you the explanations as to why. So they place a ward here. If you're stronger than the enemy, and you play Karma, and your AD carry is also strong, what you can do, you can straight up walk in here. You can straight up walk in here, and just fight them and skill your second ability. The question is why? Why would you do this, and why is this good? The reason for that is you'll bind them and deal a lot of damage with all your runes you have. And if the enemy is bound, they can't escape. And if you have the stronger champions that just fist fight them, you would automatically win as they can't run and are forced to use summoner spells and either die or lose all their spells and therefore any footage or positioning in lane. So, let us play again. We see here Nami is trying to look for poke with a second ability. Now Lucian walks into the river to place a ward, so we assume he has warded the Tri-Brush, and we just walk up and hit him with our full combo. We also spotted some very key information. Lucian does not have bone plating. Not having bone plating is a huge advantage for us, and we just have to be careful to not lose too much HP. What are the dangerous things playing into Lucian Nami? Level 1 is not so much a problem, but the issue starts happening level 2, level 3 onwards, because the Lucian then has access to all his base abilities, which then are empowered by the Nami. If the Nami ever hits us with a bubble, we immediately die 100 to 0. But you see here, I can just walk up and I look for the Nami because I know the Nami doesn't have Cleanse. I ignite her and deal damage to her. The Lucian turns immediately and goes onto my Varus, while the Nami is walking away. So we already got all the important things out of them. Lucian doesn't have Cleanse anymore. We made sure that we're in a good position. And now it's all about getting my second ability applied to them again. I need to be careful though, because if I walk too close, I might get one shot. I have my level 3 now, and it's all about binding them if I get the opportunity to. They'll be looking to get DCS, and I'm looking to just get a little bit more poke, just a little bit more damage. I sadly miss here, and we also double miss, which is a huge loss. So the thing is, let me go back in time here to explain this in its entirety to you, why the Lucian was allowed to do this. Okay, let's go back. You see this frame here. In this frame, I'm going to throw my first ability. So now the Lucian knows my first ability is on cooldown, therefore he can play the game. Not only this, but also my Varus misses the first ability, which means none of us have any super aggro abilities that deal a lot of damage. Lucian jumps on us, we turn on him immediately, but we simply lack the damage, you see? It is a very good call by him to do this super fast, but if any of us has any ability left of our most damaging abilities, he would instantly die for this. So to put this into context, the Lucian realized it really well when he could go in, compared to us who were moving up too far while we're not having the relevant cooldowns for that player. But keep in mind, now I have access to Hex Flash, and he doesn't have access to Flash. What does this mean? I'll show it to you. As I approach this here, this is very, very important. You need to do this in your games. So currently I'm invisible to the enemy's AD carry. He goes in, which is a mistake in itself. He should not just go in without complete information. My goal, or my idea for this play would have been anyway, to walk into this brush, guarantee it's not warded with the control ward, and then sit here at the peak of the brush, and then try to use my Hex Flash to go forward, close the distance, and then apply my second ability to the target because Illusion doesn't have Cleanse anymore because it's on cooldown, and Flash is as well on cooldown, and then get them killed. Because if I make sure that he's rooted, then he can't fight back, and my Varus will also guarantee every single spell to be hit. He doesn't realize what happened, he walks too close, so I use my empowered third ability to just close the gap because he doesn't have any counterplay anyway at this point. And then he just dies. Now we'll gain access to this tower, and the enemy bot lane will have to be really careful once they come back because we will hit level 5 very soon. And then now is another thing that we can do to completely mess with them. After doing this here, we are presented with multiple options. Like right now, we can reset. We should have reset the moment we kill this wave to be back on the lane super fast with the next wave. The next thing we can do is playing with their perception. My Varus is soon to be level 5, sadly he's not level 5, which would have made this so much easier. But what we can do is, we have the access to this control ward still, and we know that we can just hide in this brush, but the enemy will assume we recall because we have so much gold to spend after the play we just made. So we would walk into this brush, place a control ward, be it this brush or the one behind, and then we wait. Keep in mind, I have my Hex Flash, I have my empowered ability here, and I have my ultimate and ignite ready. So the enemy is really, really in danger right now. Versus hiding, I use my empowered Q. I still have all the abilities I need. As long as I get to attach with Hex Flash, he can't get away anymore. He just dies. Boop, number 1, I don't even have to pop ignite, and he just gets the next one as well. Because I use most of my damage, and then I can just back off space-wise, so I don't get one-tapped by the Illusion who might turn on me, and we're all happy. But now I need to be mindful of my mana, of my resources, of my gold, because I don't want to stay on the map for too long, and I will just go base. But now I make a purchase that many people would not understand. I just purchased the anti-healing component of Moralonomicon. I will never finish that item until it's super late. And now the question is, why is the support walking mid lane? Can you explain this to me? I will, no problem. Okay, I'm recalling here. I have nothing to do in bot lane for the majority of the next time because my Varus is about to reset here. So it doesn't matter if I'll be in the lane earlier or a little bit later, because there's nothing for me to do down here. So rather than wasting my time of walking here and waiting alone, I'm utilizing my time because my Varus doesn't have any reason to go there and put himself at risk, because the wave here is coming, the wave here is coming, the wave will be slightly closer to here or at best or worst neutral, and neutral means that the Varus can just max range farm with his Q ability, while I'm able to just roam the map and then return if it's required. Required would be for me to be here if the wave is crashing into the tower and he could have been dove. Now here, what I realize is the wave is looking really sketchy very soon, and my teammate has very low HP. What does this tell me? He might get all in, or he's in a good position to bait. Gets jumped on, takes a lot of damage, and I can just walk there and see what I can make happen. I'll be hiding in Fog of War, because again, I want to play with the perception of the enemy that they don't know I'm here. And if that doesn't work, I'll just look and move on. Apparently I was on a ward, this is what the Amumu told me. This is also something I want to tell you about intent. So first off, you see me go over here. Now I don't know for sure that there's a ward, but now you will see in a brief second that I know that there's a ward due to how he reacts. Due to how the Amumu reacted, I knew that there was a ward, so I just immediately back off as well, but I make a mistake. This is a huge mistake. Why is this a mistake? Okay, I go for this play here. Then I move downwards, then I use the plan upwards, and I could have known that they're in here if I paid attention, but my eyes were looking up here rather than up here. Because obviously they can be in here to match my rotation because they've seen me walk here, so they would then infer that I would be pathing down like this to get there as fast as possible, but in reality I could also go like this and be super safe. So the next thing that happens is a mistake on my end because I was not paying enough attention. Also, you see, like whenever I walk through Fog of War, I press this ability all the time. The reason for that is it tells me if I'm seen by someone that is close. Or rather, it tells me if somebody is close. And Varus' death is 100% my fault here. It is 100% my fault that Varus died because I made the wrong decision. This is a very big wrong decision that snowballs super negatively into us. But on the right side, we can still continuously one-shot the enemy, because we have the champions for it. Keep in mind, Nami doesn't have the cleanse, and we have the access to flash and all the other abilities. Also, neat little trick if you play support, so in case you didn't notice, it doesn't matter from where you kill these minions. You see the support item stacks here. It doesn't matter if you kill them here or you killed them here. As long as you are, as a champion, in range to another allied champion, you can share with them. Which makes it easier to give them the gold of these minions, but you will not give them XP. So be careful when you kill minions in lane, when your AD carry is too far away and you do not give him any XP. And again here I'm waiting. My second ability will always tell me if somebody moves up here. I'm on a control ward, so I have complete information. I know they're coming now. And now I just go in. The Nami will get rooted. She can't do anything about this. He dodges the bubble. Now with the Nami being rooted and being knocked back in, the Varus can just do any damage he wants to. And we have super high bonus damage on that target. He gets jumped on by the Lucian because Lucian has insane damage. Will be tried to get ran down, but it will simply not happen, and Riven gets a double kill. Karma is also one of the best champions when it comes to jungle setup because of this root ability. You being able to just make sure that the enemy cannot move is such a huge advantage. Because keep in mind, many champions are not balanced around the fact that you can hit every single ability. That is a huge thing that you can use to your advantage. Again, this is potentially a mistake unless you, this is all that comes down to. Do you believe you can fight the objective, and if so, why? Do we have the champions to do so, and if so, why? Or do we need a certain scenario for us to really play this? But you see here, we are in big trouble. The enemy is trying to jump on us. We will die, but the fight only happened to go our way because they split up. Like, we got a good hit on multiple people, we got good damage. If we had ult, it would have been even better. Meanwhile, Varus is getting billions of gold down there, getting wave after wave into getting to hit the tower as well. He has to now back off just to be safe. He's going for the next wave, not over accident. He can't really hit the tower now. And we just look for something on the map. We have our Vladimir out because right now we still can only share gold. We can't steal gold, so we can have our Vlad just securing this and getting some priority mid lane, which we can use in any way we want to. This is a very risky play. I should be fine though, so I just walk away, charge my Hex Flash, and I'm out. One of the other beauties of Karma is when you utilize your second ability, you can just root somebody, peace out, and if you play Hex Flash, you can just go out of all the bad situations. Now the enemy is already mid. We cannot get there in time anyway because they have already committed so many resources and they even placed the Herald. So why would we try to go for a play that we cannot change anything about when we can just go for the next turret and then look for the next possible play? Here we see Nami getting hit by a big chunk of damage, and we sit on a control ward here, so we can just see and observe what we can do. I sadly can't just flash over the wall, Hex Flash over the wall, because Amumu would be here, because by the concept of understanding where somebody is, or where he was, we can eliminate the possibilities of where he can come from. Now with the backup of the Riven, we can now go for a subsequent play here and punish the enemy. How does this one even connect, by the way? Here I'm making sure that they can't really commit onto the Riven. That's why I placed my ult like this. It wasn't meant as an all-in ult. It's something you can also do as a Karma, because the enemy has to fear the potential damage you're doing because you simply do too much. Lucian is getting baited, has to use Flash. My Riven gets nearly one-tapped, gets tapped. No, she gets the kill with the ult and even gets the reset. We love WildRift, the reset gaming experience. And now we have Super Spiked. Okay, there's another thing for Karma. For this current patch that is just released, we are going to see a change for the enchantment. Normally, in all scenarios of the past, you would simply go for the Meteor enchant. Why Meteor enchant? Okay. You've already seen that a combo of this champion is unmissable if you get to hit your second empowered ability. Since it applies to enemy champions and just attaches to them, and you don't have to physically expose yourself, you can utilize this as an advantage to always guarantee that your meteor is going to hit. And if you can guarantee the meteor to hit in combination with your ultimate and your first ability and your second ability's damage, it is quite the insane burst damage that you're throwing into the enemy's face, which is a huge advantage in turning fights into your favor since you just one-shot them. Spotting the enemy here, they are overextending as well, we get another zombie ward, and here we can just approach the fight and make sure that we deny them. We use the movement speed buff because they don't have any mobility to escape the potential play. We just lock down the Aatrox, but we have to be really careful. This minion is a hero minion for blocking this Q, but he just gets ran down. We get him for free, we get the Nami for free, and we get the wave as well. My resources are completely depleted. I have no purpose to stay on the map anymore, and I would rather build my enchantment right now and then come back onto the map. I swap my trinket. Now you're asking, why is he swapping your trinket? I think I have my zombie board completed, and I would rather have some extra information on the map to make sure that we can play off of information. On information like, for example, buffs, where's the person on the other side of the map, how can I use it to my advantage, etc. Like you see here, I would always know if Amumu was doing his blue buff and if he's on this side, and therefore could potentially stage a play on the other side of the map. Also, when you look at the map and you look at your teammates, ask yourself if you can sync up the plays with your teammates, if they're aware of what is going on. And the next thing is, what is dangerous and what is not dangerous? Cassin jumps forward here. He's doing something really sketchy. He needs to be really careful. Yes, he might be jumping around and trying to escape, but that might not be enough. Now Lucian goes all in onto my Varus here. Nearly one-taps there. Actually, the Varus dies here because he walks up too far up alone. I get jumped scared from Narnia. And we get all in here. I need to be really careful. I have to space very far away, just expecting potential flashes trying to one-shot me. And I'm just observing the situation if I can join in without putting myself at too much risk. And the Bluetooth auto tag actually kills the Amumu. And now I'll look for my reset angle because I personally can't do much. Ruin will take the other wave on the other side of the map. And I will look at the bottom side of the map. The Aatrox is actually transitioning up there into the mid lane, so I have to immediately respond to that one if I can maybe do something about that one. I pop the meteor behind, forced him to move in a certain direction to back off already. Then I look for an old angle, but sadly missed the old angle. Here I could have Q flashed earlier, but now I'll try to go after them, but I think I could have played this a lot better. Yeah, let's break down the fight and why I played it bad and what you could do better. Okay. The meteor is now placed for them for multiple reasons. The meteor would either push them away from my Vladimir or into the Vladimir. So one of the true scenarios will always be the case. The next problem is I do not have my mantra available right now. Now I have a mantra available, but the problem is I pop my mantra on the Aatrox alone, he dies, but then I get impatient with my ultimate ability, which is a huge problem. So let's see if I could have done it differently. I pop this, I walk after him, and now instead of walking to the right, I should walk upwards to hope and bait and hope they jump into me. But yeah, my flash comes up after my Hex Flash dissipates it, and we get a few kills, but I could have definitely played this a lot better by just identifying correctly what is dangerous and what is not. We have multiple waves in multiple lanes that we can utilize. Amumu is trying to run at me. Cassidon jumps me. I will probably die here if he continues for that one, but he will also die if that is the case. Yeah, Lucian gets one tap because he gets baited by the Amumu. Cassidon is on the right side being too low. I'm just super careful that the Cassidon might not get the idea that he can jump me, so I stay far away. And now our team will secure the dragon, which in itself doesn't mean much, but we'll deny the enemy the mental advantage of getting soul, because as of right now, there's not much to do other than just taking this and denying the mental pressure of a soul. And we can just then return to farming. Since the enemy, okay, oh, this is something of a concept that many people do not understand. Okay, the next objective we're going to play around is going to be Baron Nashor. How many people on the map do you currently see? You see Aatrox, you see Nami, and you see Cassidon, and 2 people dead. Which means I can just walk wherever I want, where I know these people cannot be, and place a deep ward, control some vision, deny vision into anything to my own advantage. Vision placed here, it's controlled. Now I'll just guard my little Varus and use my spells just to make sure that I have my mantra queue available, or my mantra generally, because my mantra is the entire gameplay loop I'm playing around. I'm looking for an angle here, but sadly I cannot reach, and I get spotted by this stupid plant from base. Then my Hexflash timeout and just look for poke damage while I'm just running around to restack and spam my abilities to just look for another potential mantra queue. Mantra Q on Karma is such a huge factor in terms of damage that it makes life so impossible for the enemy to exist. My Vladimir is face checking since we're all squishy champions. I'm just abusing his pressure to space in these areas here. Because let me tell you the problem many people do not understand by breaking this down for you. Okay, Vladimir is currently walking in, and if we all walk with him, we give the enemy the perfect situation of jumping on us. What we want to use him as a human ward that gives us information, which he does right now, and then respond to that information without being at risk. Like here, we are hovering very far distant, like at least I am. Varus was on the other side, and again, we're hovering very far distant, just being able to respond to what they're doing and trying to see whatever they can do. You see, I'm immediately walking out of this situation. My Varus is down here fighting the Kassadin. He's not involved with this fight there. Like, there's multiple fights happening right now. We have this here happening, and we have something happening here. If I walk here, I will die 100%, or I have to Hexflash here, and then I can't play the game anymore. Here, I can abuse the Amumu, in the sense of, if he commits here, it's free for me to just turn around and look for people behind the Amumu, or turn around and walk down here, and then maybe rejoin with Hexflash, or maybe just go even through the Amumu. I'm observing for more people to come, playing it super slow because I might be at risk, pop the Meteor, give my Riven Vision with the Meteor, Hexflash over the wall to reset the fight, and then I'm rejoining the fight from another angle if necessary, and looking for other people in Fork or Wall, like pressing, like waiting for the Aatrox who we knew was coming from here. So my Varus is holding the spot here, and I'm just waiting for a potential approach of the Aatrox, who we don't see on this ward right now since he's sweeping it, potentially coming through here. So I'm hovering here already just in case he jumps the wall or comes here, so I can immediately bind him so my team can collapse on him. He walks away. And now we can focus our attention onto the Nashor, because the enemy jungle is dead, the enemy AD carry is dead, and they have to flip the coin. Meanwhile, the Gnar is playing for time, so they can't access this. We don't have smite, but it shouldn't be a problem, because the enemy doesn't have any access to the pit, and I'm tanking Baron Nashor here. In case you don't know what tanking Baron Nashor does, you see this lovely debuff here. The person that's closest to Baron Nashor gets this debuff, standing basically inside of it and tanking Nashor. This debuff makes you deal 50% less damage. Dealing 50% less damage is a big problem because it doesn't only affect monsters, it affects every unit in the game. So if that happens, if the enemy jumps on you, there's a huge problem. Plus, since if you're dealing not the majority of the damage to the objective, let's say you're a tank or the support champion, you can just tank it so your team kills it faster, and therefore you waste less time, have less risk of losing it, and all the other reasons you can think of. We see a red buff spawning here, which is a potential thing that we can look for. We also know that this isn't warded at all, so we can look for a potential kill here. I flash in immediately, I will get him rooted, I will get him nearly one shot, and he just dies immediately. This is all a play that is based on pure information that we've received earlier, and we just use later on. Mumu jumps in, looks for an angle here on the Vladimir. Vladimir survives. We're looking to peel for the people. Riven in the backline kills everyone, and we are just getting free kills left and right because the enemy is completely split up. Gnar is getting a little bit overzealous, and unfortunately just dies. No, he doesn't, but whatever. And this is the way how the game ends. So if we were to summarize how to play this champion, it's basically a mix of playing aggressive, knowing where to be, and utilizing information to your advantage. Enchanter gameplay or mage gameplay is all about this one. You need to understand when there's danger, you need to understand where danger is coming from, and how to use your kit against it. For reference, you just saw the LP. This was from the 47 win streak video, by the way, which will be fully released very soon. And again, looking for the different items here, let me walk you through the process of why I built these items. Okay, so first off, we are going to see Harmonic on Nami. Harmonic on Nami and Nami as a champion heals a lot. So to deny this, we'll immediately go into Oblivion Orb because it is really powerful to just deny potential healing. It's even more important if she would run heal. Once she has Harmonic though, we need to make sure we have this because otherwise we will never be able to kill unless we have Ignite, which then would lower the frequency of killing because we don't have Ignite all the time. As for other choices that you can look into here, Vladimir itemized into anti-shielding, so we're not forced to buy anti-shielding. We can also turn this into a Liandry. If you're asking why Liandry, the enemy team is relatively chunky. He chose to go for the Archangel build, which makes him a little bit tanky. He's tanky by nature, and his Aatrox was also tanky by nature. Plus, if we go for Liandry, if we went for Liandry, we would apply the effects of the Oblivion Orb constantly onto the enemy, which would then allow us to have an easy way of reducing their effective healing constantly, because none other on our team, apart from the Riven, has the idea of going for this item. I mean, Varus has this in his third abilities kit, but other than this, it's still very important to just think about the possibility of denying the enemy's purpose of a champion by simply adjusting your items. It is super powerful and super helpful. And for the anti-healing, I mean, they also have Aatrox, so this shouldn't be discounted. And that is basically it. And that's it for this video. If you want to know more about Karma, let me know in the comments below. I know the new patch might be super overwhelming. On this weekend, I'll explore more of this patch, and you're more than welcome to join the stream. I'll be giving away some skin codes. I need to figure out a way of how I can do this the most consistent way, that the most people have a chance at winning. And we'll see each other on probably Friday, the latest Saturday, playing some WildRift, enjoying the new items, and going absolutely crazy of how insanely OP new things are. And then a little bit later, we'll figure out what is the best possible build for every champion. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment to boost it. Thank you all very much. Take care.